We are here with some real life NFL football. Most of you probably already know, due to my Seahawks franchise in Madden, that I am a big Seahawks fan. That is the team I support in real life. And I wanted to try something a little bit different today and actually talk about real life football instead of just Madden. I'm on Madden just to give you guys some visuals so you can kind of see what I'm trying to talk about and all that good stuff. But I've always wanted to do stuff like this, and we're going to give it a go. If you guys want to see more, definitely let me know. Maybe I'll do a review of the game afterwards. But the Seahawks, Week 1, are taking on the Indianapolis Colts. They are on the road. At the time of this recording, it is a 50-point over-under, and the Seahawks are 2.5-point road favorites. So we're going to talk about the Seahawks first, get into the Colts, all that good stuff. First things first. I don't remember ever when this has happened for the Seahawks, at least in recent memory. They are all 100% healthy. There was not a single person questionable for this game. No one out. I mean, obviously they have some people on the IR from preseason injuries, but the current 53 is all healthy, which is amazing. I mean, clearly they probably wanted to do this because they barely played any starters throughout preseason. There was no Russell, no DK, no Tyler. There was barely even our line, no Chris Carson. I mean, Gerald Everett was out there for like 10 snaps. Eskridge, the first-round rookie, was out there for like 15 snaps. Defense barely played. Like, they rested all their starters, which I am completely fine with. So I'm very, very happy with that. Moving on to the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. I'm very excited to see what he does. I mean, clearly in preseason you don't really show too much. But we got the new OC in town. I'm excited to see what he does. Hopefully, I'm hoping he can get the ball out real quick. Real quick passes, as we'll see later down the road. I'm going to show you guys who I believe is going to be starting. Clearly, Russell and Chris Carson are going to be starting. The receivers, DK, Tyler Lockett. You got the rookie there, probably playing in the slot, not the SWAT. And then also you got Freddie Swain down there. I think Gerald Everett will be. I mean, they're going to rotate in and out. These two guys, Will Dissly and Gerald Everett, are going to be out there a lot. But I think Everett will get the majority of the snaps. That's just what I'm hoping for at the very least. Offensive line's pretty easy. Dwayne Brown obviously starting. So is Damian Lewis. The center position leads me to my next point. Who will start? There's been a lot of rumors that Pete Carroll's been even hyping up Kyle Fuller a lot throughout practice. And I actually think Kyle Fuller is going to start over Ethan Posick. That's just what I believe. I think it's going to happen. I'm not a big Ethan Posick fan at all. So, if we're trying someone else, we might as well, because I really don't think Posick brings that much. And depending on who will be the starting center, if it's Kyle Fuller, like I'm assuming it's Kyle Fuller, how are we going to stop DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart? I think that's going to be a really, really key element to this game. If they can stop the interior guys, that will help out a lot with the Seahawks offense. I think I think they need to start opening up quick passes. Just boom, boom, a lot of quick stuff, a lot of motion, just quick, tire them down. If we just try to sit there and be freaking old school Seahawks and just run up the middle, I think it's not going to go well for us, and I think it could be very, very bad. I mean, the Colts defense is not a bad defense, so they need to be quick with their passes. Everything needs to be quick. I mean, obviously, you could try some deep stuff, whatever, all that play action stuff they like to do. But to start it off, it's got to be quick. We can't let DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart just pummel us, okay? I've seen so many times when Posick was starting last season, or whoever was starting at center, just get dominated by Aaron Donald. Everything up the middle is just terrible, okay? They need to somehow try to lock it down, whether it's double teaming every single, just nonstop, or I don't know how they're going to do it, but the middle of the line is going to be very, very key for both teams. If we can stop DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, or if the Colts can get a bunch of penetration there, get in Russell's face, I think it could cause some massive problems. Other side, you got Gabe Jackson, Brandon Shell, pretty easy there. Carlos Dunlap on the defensive line with LJ Collier. Defensive tackles are Puna, Al Woods. Obviously, Seahawks like to rotate a lot, so guys like Rasheed Green will probably be in there for a little bit, maybe even Alton. Benson Mayowa and Kerry Hyder probably be rotating in and out all the time. I'm interested to see Darrell Taylor. I'm assuming he's going to be starting at left outside linebacker. It's pretty, I thought Cody Barton was pushing for it in the preseason because he had a great preseason, but I think it's actually going to be Darrell Taylor. What was he, a second-round pick last year or a third-round pick? Or no, he was second-round pick and didn't even play due to injury. So excited to see him out there and healthy. Maybe, hopefully, he can become something, because if he becomes something, him, Brooks, and Bobby Wagner, that is a fearsome linebacker trio there. So very excited to see that. Obviously, Bobby and Jordan Brooks are starting there. And this is the last point for the Seahawks, is who will start at corner. There is so many corners. They've made so many moves. They've traded for Reed. They traded for him and they cut him, and then they signed him to the practice squad or something weird like that. They got Blesson Austin. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his first name, but he was on the Jets last season. Sidney Jones obviously just came over. Still have Ugo Amadi all the way down here. Trey Brown is on, I think, the short-term IR, which is a little unfortunate, the rookie there. And Trey Flowers. So it's looking like Trey Flowers, DJ Reed are going to be starting. Obviously, Sidney Jones just came over. He'll probably play, but I doubt he gets one of those starting jobs. It's probably Trey Flowers at the one. He'll be at one of the depth chart, and then DJ Reed will probably be at the other spot. And someone's got to take this job. Seriously, ever since Sherman left and Brandon Browner and Brian Maxwell, all those dudes left, the only person that has really claimed their territory at the cornerback spot was Shaquille Griffin, and obviously he is gone in Jacksonville now. And, Trey Flowers fits the corner Pete Carroll wants, really tall, lengthy, got a lot of length. He's 6'3". Even when you go to the practices, I went to one practice this year, and Trey Flowers just looks so tall. The man is huge. He just got to have a good season. I'm pretty sure this is his last season on his contract as well, so he needs to have a good season. DJ Reed did okay last season, didn't do bad. But I still don't know how I feel about DJ Reed. We'll have to see more of him. But I believe those two will be our starting corners. It's obviously the Seahawks defense last year was not the best. They turned it around later on, but the schedule helped them with that as well. Someone has to lock down this corner spot, whether it's Sidney once he kind of gets acclimated and gets used to the playbook and the system and all that stuff. Maybe Sidney Jones is just going to start balling. Maybe Trey Flowers finally has a good season. I have no clue. I believe it's going to be Trey and DJ starting, though, and one of them hopefully can have a good game. There's no T.Y. Hilton this game for the Colts. He's injured with neck injury, I think it was. So it's going to be Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal. I think Paris Campbell's healthy as well. So those three guys are going to be out there, which they're not like scrubs, but we're not facing any like crazy talent yet. It's not like week 2 when we face Julio and AJ Brown. So one of these guys has to step up and really try to take the mantle and say, okay, I'm gonna be the guy, because Shaquille Griffin was the guy for us, and now that he's out of town, someone has to do it. Okay, someone has to do it. So it's gonna be interesting to see some of those starting spots, especially like center, outside linebacker. Is it Darrell Taylor? Is it gonna be Alton Robinson? I think was even getting snaps in the preseason. Is it gonna be Cody Barton? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Moving on to the Colts side of the ball, I didn't really edit their lineup as much like the Seahawks did for their starting lineup, so this is just kind of whatever EA is feeling. I guess one thing for the Seahawks I did forgot to mention is the nickel corner spot is another one. There's 2 people battling for it right now. Pete Carroll hasn't said who's going to start. It's either going to be free safety, he can play in the corners or the slot as well, Marquise Blair or Ugo Amadi. Now for that, I could go both ways. I actually do kind of like Ugo. It's not like I hate Ugo Amadi. I do kind of like him, and Marquise Blair I do like as well. So I'm excited to see both of them out there. Hopefully they split reps and one of them pops off or something. But that's another spot for the Seahawks that's kind of rotating right now and hasn't really been set in stone. For the Colts side, they have a few injuries. Xavier Rhodes and Kamoko Toure are both already out, so none of them. Xavier Rhodes, those are decently big-time injuries there. Quentin Nelson is questionable, but he's definitely going to play. Carson Wentz already is starting. I guarantee you Quentin Nelson's going to play. That man's a freak. I'm pretty sure Quentin Nelson could play on a broken leg, 2 broken legs. Yeah, both his legs broken. He'd probably still go out there and play somehow. So it's going to be very interesting to see Carson Wentz on the Colts reunited with Frank Reich. Can he just get back to his MVP ways? Can he do it? I think Carson Wentz is a very, very big key player for the Colts if they want to get this Week 1 game at home. He has to play well. If he turtles and goes back to his ways of last season where he's throwing picks and not getting the ball out and just getting sacked nonstop, players like Bobby, Jamal Adams, Quandre, I mean, they're going to feed off those plays, and it's just going to be a mess for the Colts. So he has to play well. He has to. Clearly, the offensive line for the Colts is very, very talented. So, and the Seahawks defensive line, maybe you can call me a homer. They're not amazing, but they're not like trash. They have decent players there. They can rotate around. They got a lot of depth there, so they could, at least at the very minimum, they're going to be fully fit and got a lot of energy because they're just going to rotate guys in and out. They're not going to get too tired because of the amount of depth they have there. But Carson has to play good. He has to play good for them to win. There's no way you're going to get like an average to bad game from Carson Wentz and win this game. It's just not going to happen, especially with Russell Wilson on the other side. It is not going to happen. With T.Y. being hurt, who is going to step up and be the wide receiver one for the Colts? I mean, we just said it on the Seahawks corner depth. They don't even know who's going to start at the nickel spot. It's either Ugo or Marquise Blair. Their starting corners are already a mess right now. It's like, is it going to be Trey, DJ? Is Sidney Jones? Are we throwing him out there? Is it going to be the dude from the Jets that they just acquired? There's so many ways that the Seahawks can go with their corners, and their corners did not do good last season. They were on pace to give up like the most passing yards in NFL history or whatever, or maybe it was most total yards. It was a disaster. One of these guys are going to have to step up. It's between these two for me. I don't hate Paris Campbell. I think Paris Campbell actually got like a slight injury too. I think he's like probable or something, or maybe that was like a week ago that I saw him pop up on an injury report. But Zach Pascal and Michael Pittman. Can Michael Pittman have a good sophomore season? One of these two are going to have to step up, and they have the talent to do it. They're not coming across to Stephon Gilmore or Jair Alexander like someone locked down. Like they're not coming across that, so they could definitely do it. But for the Colts to win this game, Carson Wentz is, like I said, is going to have a good game, and one of these guys are going to have to help him. Obviously, if Carson has a good game, a receiver is probably going to have a good game as well. And if that's the case, it's going to probably be one of these two, either Pittman or Zach Pascal. Like I said with the offensive line for the Seahawks, the defensive line for the Colts is huge. That center position for the Seahawks isn't the best. It's probably the worst out of their starting offensive line right now. Either Posick or Kyle Fuller, like I said, is going to be the star. I think it will be Kyle Fuller. And if it is Fuller, it's a huge test for him. Week 1 to go against DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. These two are going to be a lot to handle, and I think it's a huge key for the Seahawks to win. Like I said earlier, is they have to start drives by getting the ball out quick. Just get it out quick. Or if they're running, just take it to the outside. Just give up on trying to go up the middle. I don't believe it's going to happen. Stay to the outsides. Try to avoid these two as much as possible, especially if we're starting Kyle Fuller, especially for that man. I don't have off the top of my head how many starts Kyle Fuller has. I don't even know if he even has a regular season start, to be honest. If he does, it's got to be on one hand. It's got to be like 2 starts or something. I don't think it's that many. Posick was the guy for some time. So I think it's going to be a very, very tough game for Kyle Fuller in that middle. Like I said, they got to just try to get the ball out quick and avoid those guys. And my last point for the Colts is who is going to guard DK. Obviously, I'm hoping Shane does a lot of motion stuff, quick passes to either Tyler Eskridge. Even quick little slants to DK or something. But who is going to guard DK? You got no Xavier Rhodes. Kenny Moore, probably not going outside. I'm going to assume Kenny Moore would stay in the slot. I'm pretty sure he plays in the slot there in real life. I haven't watched many Colts games last year, but I'm going to assume this man is in the slot. Rocky Asin, is it going to be him? I'm pretty sure if I read correctly, the Colts like to run a lot of cover 2, so we'll have to see what they do about that, but I mean, someone's gonna have to guard DK, and someone's gonna have to step up. I mean, that's just plain and simple. Whether it's Rocky Sin, I think he'll probably be the best option to guard DK out of the rest of the corners on the roster. There's no Xavier Rhodes. Kenny Moore's like 6 inches smaller than DK, so there's no reason to put Kenny Moore even remotely close to him. Isaiah Rodgers is what? He's also like 7 inches smaller. I mean, they're both tiny compared to DK. And then do you want to throw a rookie out there? I don't think you throw a rookie out there. So someone is going to have to guard DK. It's probably going to be Rocky Sin. And will he do it? We will see. Only time will tell. But for my key players, I picked one, or just, a player on offense and defense for both sides. For the offense, like I said, I think it's Shane Waldron. He has to game plan quick stuff. That was my biggest pet peeve when the Seahawks started tanking last year, doing butt cheeks. There was so much really long, deep play action plays, just nonstop. Like they had nothing quick, and either if they had something quick, Russell either wasn't seeing it or just decided not to throw it because he wanted to throw a nuke and just send it downfield. Just quick. Test him deep every once in a while. Go for it. I'm all for it. Do a long play action play after you get a couple completions and then see. But they have to be quick with their reads, and I hope Shane's got that in the bag for us, because if they don't, if they're sitting back there in the pocket, I think DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart can cause a lot of problems in that interior, and pressure in Russell's face is bad news. We don't want that, especially he's so tiny. I mean, come on. I know he's a beast, but the man is tiny, and if you got huge ass men right in his face like that, it's going to be a problem. For the defense, I think the key players for Seahawks defense are going to be Jamal and Quandre Diggs. So both safeties, they are both healthy. They both got paid. I mean, Jamal got paid. Quandre just got some money shifted around, so he got some more guaranteed or more money up front and stuff. They're both happy. They're healthy, like I said. And with the struggles of our corners and who's going to start at some nickel spot, who's going to start alongside Trey Flowers, is Trey Flowers going to be a bum again? I think in order to stop Carson Wentz, if he's going to be throwing all day like how teams would play against us, they would just give up. They would just pass their way to victory. I think Jamal Adams and Quandre are going to have to have a big game. And I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think Quandre gets a pick. I mean, I don't know if Carson Wentz does good this season, but this is his first game. He was hurt. Wasn't he on like COVID protocol or something? It's his very first game. I don't see Carson coming out being a beast. I see like maybe an average-ish performance for him, and I'm just guessing. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like Quandre Diggs will get a pick here. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see. For the Colts side, the key players, I said it when I was looking at their team, it's got to be Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz has to have a good game in order to win, I don't see it happening. Like I said, though, I'm not hating on the Colts. I think the Colts probably can win that division and be them or the Titans. Clearly, there's no way the Texans are. I mean, if the Jags are competing, that's pretty wild. But there's no way the Texans are even close. But I just don't think week one. I think he'll struggle a little bit and maybe have like an average-ish game. And but if the Colts are going to win, he's going to have to play well. And for the defense, like I've said multiple times, the key players for them, it's their defensive tackles, man. DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, if they're just dominating up front and Kyle Fuller's getting smacked around and they're getting in Russell's face, Russell can be, I mean, he is pretty safe with the ball, but we also saw it last season. He can be kind of a little turnover prone sometimes, and I could see that happening as well if D-Buck and Grover Stewart are having an insane game and just blowing up everything inside, shutting down the run. That's why I think the Seahawks really, really, really need to be quick. Whether it's line up, 4 wide receivers, put Freddie, DK, Tyler, and D. Eskridge all out there, and just quick stuff, just like a little curl, boom, like just quick. Try to tire them down a bit. My score predictions. I've done these with my family and stuff, and score predictions for the NFL are so hard. They are so hard. But I am predicting the Seahawks to start off on the road week one with a W. I'm saying 24-20 Seahawks. They're hitting the under. I don't think it will hit the over. It's like at the time of this recording, it was a 50-point over-under. I don't expect it to hit the over. The Colts defense is pretty solid, along with the Seahawks breaking out their brand new offensive coordinator. I think things could look a little rough at the start of the game. I mean, maybe Shane Waldron all of a sudden just turns the Seahawks into gods, and next thing you know, they're just going up and down the field. But I'm pretty sure last season the Seahawks only had like 1 or 2 opening out of all their games. I think like it was 2 games where they scored a touchdown their opening drive. Like, it's always a little shaky at the beginning, and I definitely can see that happening, especially if Kyle Fuller starts. You got a new center out there. You got your new offensive coordinator out there. You got beasts on the defensive line for the Colts. And then you got Carson Wentz fresh on a new team, trying to learn stuff with the receivers. So I think it could start off a little slow. But I think 24-20 for the Seahawks is going to be a good win. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you want me to post more stuff about this, about real-life football, I definitely will. And I will be probably making a little recap once this game's over on Monday. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.